everybody, welcome back to my Daily Dose with Tim. Today is Season 2, Episode 27, and we're continuing on with the train of 5 ways to achieve financial freedom in 5 years or less. So once again, I'm just really giving you some guidance and some of the roadmaps that I've helped a lot of my students mapped out over the years as well. And there's really no right or wrong way to approach this because everything should be goal driven. And this is why it's really funny. I mean, I'm noticing that I'm missing a lot of messages from you guys over the last couple of weeks because some of them get filtered into this other folder as well. And despite what a lot of people might think, I'm actually not very active on Facebook in the sense that I actually don't go in and just browse for no reason. I do produce content and I share my information and my content with you guys, but sometimes it does take me a while to go back. So if I forgot to address your question, excuse me, or your messages, just forgive me, just know that, especially if we're not friends yet. So I'm totally happy if you would like to friend me on Facebook as well, or better yet, like my page, because this page definitely do check a lot more as well. However, today, as promised, we're gonna go into the third way of the 5 ways to financial freedom in 5 years or less. Now, some of you guys though, when you first come into the training system, you probably already have been at your job for 10 to 15 years, meaning you're relatively comfortable but uncomfortable at the same time. And also you want to make sure that you secure your retirement and you also want to have a little bit of a passive income. You just want to do something different with your life now at this point. And you're starting to realize that even as hard as you have worked over the years, you might not be retiring with the lifestyle that you want, nor are you having the lifestyle that you feel like you deserve at this point in your life. And so this is something that I've actually come across probably the most common. And so today I want to share a quick roadmap with you in terms of how you can actually approach this. And so as I mentioned to you earlier, painted you a picture. Okay, so what that means is under the earned income bucket, you probably are doing relatively well and you have a property that you may or may not have already paid off or close to paying off the mortgage. So you got one piece of property under your belt and that's your principal residence as well. And you might have 2 sources of income coming in, and because you've been working for a while, your income levels are actually fairly decent. And let's just say that you're not currently living very lavishly, even though you might want to splurge once in a while. But it just seems like money is always a little tight, even though you might have some money stashed away in your registered accounts, in your savings accounts, maybe in a stock portfolio, maybe in life insurance, maybe even in a company stock option program, whatever the case may be. This, once again, the passive income side is what is missing. And at the same time though, some of you guys may say, you know what, I don't know if I really truly care to grab OPM or if I really care to go through all the work of the joint venture side of things, since I just really want to build something for me and my family. My goal is not to be a gazillionaire by any means, but I do have a goal that I aspire to. And so here is what we're going to talk about today. And what that means is what a lot of people will do is they will actually do a few earned income strategies, and obviously we all know that wholesale is one of the most popular earned income strategies. However, at the same time, some of you guys might go, ooh, $5,000 to $10,000 per deal. I don't know, maybe that's just not my cup of tea. So I would like to actually go with the bigger stuff. So by bigger stuff, a lot of times it's usually flips. So that's a strategy that you would definitely go into, basically finding distressed properties. So we actually covered that already a couple of weeks ago. So if you want to go back and refer to this season, I don't remember which episode we started on now, but we definitely covered that already. The point is, remember, everything is goal driven. And then we break it down into the SMP process. So your flip falls under the strategy side of things. And once again, assuming that you have a very clear baseline in terms of how much you want to make. We always say that you don't go into any strategy until you actually know how to run the numbers, how to analyze it, so that there is a clear baseline and clear target for you to hit. Now, depending on the markets you're in, once again, I'm a Canadian, so I use a lot of my reference points are Canadian based. However, really, most of these things are actually North American wide, to be really honest. Obviously, if you're from New Zealand or Australia or the UK or somewhere else in Europe, the numbers might be a little different, okay? So just bear with me here. I'm going to use Canadian numbers for you. Now, some of the really, really hot markets that you can go to these days, yes, I did say that, even though I don't really use those catchphrases like the media usually do. There are still hotter markets in comparison because, again, I live in a province where we heavily rely on the oil and gas industry. And just because that industry has not been doing very well, even though it's been recovering over the last couple of years, relatively speaking, when we do a flip, we typically aim for about $30,000 as our baseline minimum profit per deal. However, you can go to a different market. So for example, right now, Southwest Ontario, for example, you can probably get profits that are about 50, 60K. Okay, so there's naturally the gap just because of what's happening in your local markets. And I don't want you to fully quote me on market intel because I don't have a crystal ball and that's not what I go by, okay? But for the purpose of demonstrating the plan that we're going to do today, I just want you to really understand that there is nothing wrong with staying in a lower profit market. What that really also means is that a lot of the times the cost of entry or the barrier to entry is actually a lot lower and a lot smaller as well. So there's always pros and cons. However, remember, it's not about how much it's going to cost you, it's about how much it's going to make you. So depending on the timeline that you have, let's just say that we want to obviously shoot a little higher because then instead of doing 2 deals to get the same result, we're just going to do 1 deal. So assuming, okay, that on an annual basis, you're going to do 2 deals. However, hang on a second. I thought we were talking about financial freedom. And we are. Financial freedom by definition means that your passive needs to be over and above your basic expenses, which I hope that you've already done that because season 2, episode 5, I believe that was the homework that you all had to do, okay? So remember, the goal that we have here is on average $5,000 on a monthly basis. Okay, so $5,000 on a monthly basis, basically, if you remember, we were talking about passive income, and let's just say that if we were to use income property multifamily as our baseline, and we know that we shoot for $200 per door. So what that would work out to be is you need 25 doors, okay, on a monthly basis to actually help you generate that kind of income. And so 25 doors, depending on which market that you're in, I'm just gonna use a market that a lot of us are very actively investing in and very familiar with these days, which is in Canada, the East Coast, New Brunswick market. And so assuming that per door is going to be about $80,000 to acquire. And again, I'm just giving you a ballpark, and this is all theoretical. However, I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you, it's theoretical and it's not at the same time. But at 80,000, you're pretty much looking at a turnkey unit already, meaning a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of renovation works have already been done for you. But the point is, here you will have an estimated purchase price of $2 million. And assuming that you are actually leveraging commercial lending, that means you can get as high as 85% loan to value financing on it, meaning 15% of that needs to be your down payment. So $2 million times the 15% down payment plus closing costs. Usually in the commercial area, I would like to budget at least 1 to 2% minimum as your closing cost, okay? As the minimum. And so for some of you, if you want to be a bit more cautious, I would do 3 to 5% as well. So let's just do a happy medium for now, and let's do 3. How's that? So really, 3% closing. So really what we're looking at here is 18% against the 2 mil. So what does that mean? That means you need to have cash available of 360,000. Okay? So why are we all of a sudden taking a tangent to go over there? Because we want to focus on the end goal. Everything starts with the end goal in mind. Okay? So what we're going to do now, I'm going to link this together. I'm going to use brown for now. So $360,000, that means if you can make a net profit of 60,000 per flip, that means you need to do 6 deals. And assuming that because you're busy with life, with kids, with work, and everything else, you only do 2 per year, that means it's going to take you 3 years to build that pot. So year 4, you're now going to take that money with your earned income qualification plus the building's performance to go and qualify to buy that building that will spit out the $5,000 a month cash flow that you are looking for. Okay, so the reason why I want to share this with you is because this one, as I mentioned earlier, has become quite a common approach, because I understand for a lot of us, once we get into real estate investing, we want to continue to grow. And in order for us to continue to grow, accessing other people's money is inevitable. However, there's always the other side. So I don't know where you fall. So take it as you will. Maybe this is a formula that works for you. Maybe there's something that is exactly what you're looking for. Maybe you're going, no, that's not, I don't care about that because I got nothing to start with, or I don't want to use my money. However, the point is, for a lot of people, this is simply, once again, a process. All you gotta do is make sure that you have a goal and have somebody help you, guide you through all of this. And so that when you can break it down like this, don't you think it makes it a lot more attainable? And it almost sounds very simple and overly simple, doesn't it? And that's the whole point. It is simple, however, is it easy to implement? Not always. And that's where the coaching and that's where the mentoring actually do come in as well. And so one of the greatest messages that I got also from you over the last few weeks, aside from the one that I already shared with you yesterday, is the fact that some of you are starting to message me and going, you know what, Tim? I'm finally understanding what it is that you're teaching. And some of you gave me a little bit of a hate in the beginning, and now you've come around and you said, I'm glad that you're not teaching me how to buy a property. I'm glad you're not teaching me how to buy something, because that's not what I'm doing. As a lot of you guys know, my message out there is really the fact that I want to help people understand and achieve financial freedom in their lifetime. And this is why I'm doing this segment, 5 ways to achieve financial freedom in 5 years or less, because it is a lot more attainable than what most people think. Okay, and once you understand how this whole formula comes about, what's really stopping you from actually updating your formula, maybe upgrading your formula? Okay, that's the whole point. Once you can free up your time and you have the passive income to pay for your day-to-day bills, you're not stressed about having to go out there and look for a job, look for income sources, relying on other people's opinions and assessment and judgment of you on how much you should make. And that's what this is all about. So if you really think about this, even if the acquisition process of this 25 doors, again, this could be 1 deal or even 2 deals max. If you really want this to happen, this whole thing can be wrapped up in under 5 years still. And you're not having to access OPM. So I know for some of you who might be really, really shy about asking other people for money, and you might have some resources yourself, this is something that you can do. Again, it's not largely what I preach. However, I just want to keep it very real with you, because I have worked with quite a few students that are very much in this situation as well. So this is why financial freedom planning, the strategy that we come up with you, is it's not one size fits all. Everybody is a little different, okay? And so as you can see, there's a lot of movements that we can do around here as well. But this is what I wanted to share with you guys today. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you have any questions. And once again, I really, really appreciate your comments and your shares and all your messages of encouragements and questions. You're giving me ideas and inspirations on what I can actually share with you. And to some of you guys who actually really like what I talked about yesterday in terms of how I actually managed to get 36 lease options in the first 2 years, or 24 in my second year. A lot of you guys have told me that you really enjoyed that segment, and I'm going to be really honest though, it was something that it really just kind of came to me. And so really the more of the story of my story yesterday is to really encourage you guys to start thinking about your own life experiences. Because the thing about it is that, yes, it is real estate. However, it is just a vehicle. At the end of the day, we're in the people's business through and through. It's about how we can figure out ways to help other people. And as one of my mentors has always been saying, we're here as solution providers. So think of yourself that way. And this is why strategies is so important. I don't care to be here to walk you through exactly what you need to write down in an offer, at what point you need to talk to your lawyers to get the deals done, and what do you need to say to your mortgage broker, and what kind of property you should be buying. That's not what this is about. Is that important? Absolutely it is. It is just not the first focus. Okay, it is just not the first focus. It's no different than if you were to be baking, or even just as simple as making pasta. Okay, you want to make pasta, and once you've decided on that goal, that end vision that you're seeing, then you go into, okay, what are the ingredients that I require to make that pasta? Okay, so I guess that's the best analogy that I have for you, because it's dinner time for me here now. So once again, thank you so very much for joining me today. I appreciate you, and I love the fact that you are sharing my message with other people, and I really truly am thankful of the fact that you are sharing my videos as well. So thank you very much once again. I will see you back here tomorrow with the 4th way of 5 ways to achieve financial freedom in 5 years or less. Live well, everybody.